Attention chiropractors, slayers of subluxation, unleashers of the imprisoned impulse. I am Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge, and welcome to this week's episode of the Chiropractic Research Breakdown, where each week we break down the most relevant chiropractic science and philosophy to empower you with the ammo and certainty necessary to change your community from the inside out. From the journal, Chiropractic and Manual Therapies. Today, we will be diving deep in a study called Multijoint Pain in Older Australian Women is Associated with Poorer Psychosocial Health and Greater Medication Usage. So here we are looking at Australian women. We are attempting to see the more areas and joints they have pain within their body. What does their mental health look like? What does their self-perceived quality of life look like? How many medications do we look like? If we do have multi-joint sites, how many? And this is what we're studying. So they say that the aim of this study was to investigate associations between the number of joint pain sites and health-related quality of life, pain characteristics, and socio-demographic variables in a representative sample of community-dwelling older Australian women. Why did they choose older Australian women? Because older people and females are more susceptible to widespread pain. That's what they said. So the authors surveyed 700 middle-aged Australian women born between 1946 to 1951. The data was collected from between March to November of 2012, which means that the individuals in this study were aged 61 to 66 years old. They targeted women with arthritis, since women with arthritis are more likely to experience multi-joint pain. Outcome measures. The most important thing they felt as though they needed to understand was how many joints hurt. Remember, specifically, we are looking at variables and comparing individuals who have more than one joint pain versus people who have one or no joint pain. So they wanted to see how many, on average, joints hurt in these individuals. The secondary things we were looking at in individuals with, or these women with multi-joint pain, things like characteristics of the pain. How would they describe it? What is their quality of life? And they use the SF-36, which if you were ever in chiropractic college in the last couple of years, you know exactly what that is in all of your clinic reassessments always. Quality of life scores, they assess socio-demographic criteria, as well as health behavior information. What types of decisions did they make? Did they exercise as well? So results are nice and easy, and they are what we expect. 2/3 of women reported more than one site of joint pain. So of the 700 women who they surveyed, more than 2/3 of them experienced multi-joint pain. Over 1/3 of these women had more than 5 painful joints in the past month. So it's just crazy. The higher number of joint pain sites, so what they wanted to see is, as we go from 5 to 6 to 7 to 10 to every single joint hurt, what are those, the quality of pain, quality of life scores, socio-demographic, and health behavior information? Is there anything that correlates? So the more number of joints that hurt in these women, the higher the duration of pain. So the more joints that hurt, the longer they experienced pain. The higher the intensity of the joint pain. So the more number of joints that hurt, the more pain from 1 to 10 that they experienced. As you can imagine, the poor physical quality of life, the more joints that hurt, significantly more medication that they took. They also had higher prevalence of psychological comorbidities such as depression or anxiety and sleep disturbances. It probably doesn't surprise you to know that the more pain that these people were in, the more they had anxiety, depression, the more they couldn't sleep. Women who had multiple joints, so of pain, so just think of this, if this person had more than one joint hurting, they were 11 times more likely to describe their pain as distressing, horrible, or excruciating. Of course, their mental health is going to be off if they have longer, more intense bouts of distressing, horrible, or excruciating pain. Of note, the most common prevalence of pain was low back pain. About 35% of the women who experienced low back pain. What was interesting to note, though, was the author's comment that based on other research, they talked about, not what they found in this study, but they talked about references in discussion section, that older people are 70% more likely to receive a prescription for painkillers than younger people, which is nuts to me. They're 70% more likely, but they're 50% less likely to be advised about manual therapy and exercise. Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. So they're 70% more likely to be diagnosed with a prescription, but 50% less likely to be advised about manual therapy, chiropractic, massage, acupuncture, whatever else you want to call manual therapy, and exercise. That's nuts. I mean, how? Do we just give up on our older populations? Like, is that what we do in medical professions? Anyway, that's why research like this is important for us to utilize. I mean, and give out to our community, because I'm sure there are people in your practice whose parents are in significant amounts of pain. They don't understand why they have anxiety and depression. We know that we can help them, yet their doctor is just giving them opiates and not telling them that there's anything else that they can do. So you need to give out this information in your practice and let people know and inspire them to change the health of their children's grandparents so that their grandparents can be around to hang out at the kids' weddings. They can dance. They can floss. Or whatever, or do the hype or whatever else. It's important. I'm not as fired up on this one as usual because it's just about pain. There's some other things with it. And primarily the focus on this podcast is kids and families. I just thought it was important just because you can see just how much this is associated, how much these increases are associated with issues like quality of life, medication, distressing, horrible, excruciating pain. I just found it fascinating that they're 70% more likely to receive a prescription for painkillers than younger people and 50% less likely to be advised about manual therapy. This is one of the research articles that we're going to be giving out in the practice this week. So you guys can jump on board and receive this in newsletter format to hand out to change the lives of your families and your practices. Grandparents, you guys can jump on board at ChiroEdgeMedia.com. We're going to have some more episodes out to you guys this week. Hope you got some value here. Keep slaying these civilizations, and I love you all.